I cannot imagine the immense pressure Ubisoft is under for their newest upcoming game, Assassin's Creed Shadows. However, things are not looking good as they probably thought they would. Hello, what's up, and welcome everyone. My name is Miss Quinn, and Ubisoft cannot seem to catch a break. Last time I spoke about Ubisoft, they were in talks with Tencent about being bought out, but obviously they wanted to remain in control. Though, as we all know, once your company is bought out, that is it. You cannot remain in control when that's how you got that problem in the first place. For a better explanation, please watch the other one, then come back here once it's all said and done, because I'm not really going to go into it that much. Saying that, Assassin's Creed Shadows has been plagued with many controversies. It was even leaked that half of the people working on their game have never even worked on a game before, and then it was later confirmed by someone else working on that team. Now, I don't mind that, considering that it just means that they'll put more passion into the game when they're making it. Hopefully, it'll also give them a drive to make it into such a great game, get their name out there, make sure more people pick it up and be like, hey, I love what this developer did, and this developer is attached to this awesome game. So if I have them on my team, it's going to be beneficial. Hopefully, that's what they're thinking, and that's how everything is going to go. But I'm not too sure about that. Now, the game was originally set to release last year on November, but as we all know how that went. When we were circling the date of the release, it was moved once more to February 14th of this year, in which, in all honesty, I like that because it gives me something to do on Valentine's Day. Meanwhile, they started showing us more gameplay footage, which increased the hype around the game, and they ended up getting more feedback from it. Seeing how we're going to go back into the stealth heavy assassinations when it comes to using the shinobi assassin. When using the legendary samurai, we can throw stealth out the window essentially, since he is more of a brute type of fighter. Like, just go in hard, heavy, yeah. You don't even bother trying to sneak, because I don't think that's the play style that they're going for. Now, my only question is if we're going to be able to freely pick who we play as in the beginning, like we did in, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I didn't finish, or switch back and forth from them in between missions like we did in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Or is it going to be like in Grand Theft Auto 5, where we can, just by a few presses of a button, we can switch from the shinobi assassin to the brute force legendary samurai? I don't know. These are all questions circling in my head. Very unfortunately, however, is that Ubisoft is in such a deep financial hole that Assassin's Creed Shadows seems to be their best bet, which gives a big reason as to why Shadows was once again delayed. But now it's delayed to March 20th. The bad part is that now I have absolutely nothing to do on Valentine's Day, which unfortunately I'm going to have to see what I could do. But I mean, at least 4 days later from that, Lost Records Bloom and Rage is set to release, so I guess I can wait to do something a few days later. Now, people are taking the delay as a fact that the game is going to be horrible. Many are saying that it's possible that the game is going to end up like Cyberpunk 2077 on release. Even Domino's is getting in on the fun, according to this Reddit post, if it's to be believed. I personally do hope it's to be believed, and I do hope it's real, just because it's funny. It's giving me Wendy's Twitter vibes. Now, Ubisoft changing their release date means that they'll avoid the same releases as Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Civilization 7, and Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, to name a few. Although there is a problem with the date that they picked, and okay, listen, since their game takes place in Japan, I would have honestly made sure my game release didn't coincide with anything horrible. And by that, I mean that sadly, it doesn't seem like Ubisoft has done that, has taken the time to research what that date coincides with. Because according to Britannica.com, on May 20th of 1995, the top leaders of AUM Supreme Truth attacked the Tokyo subway, ending the lives of 12 people and injuring thousands. Even though I know people don't care essentially because it's just like, oh, that has nothing to do with the game industry, but still, you're basing your game in Japan on the day, and on the day you're releasing this game, something horrible happened. I doubt that would be the case, of people not caring if they would have picked another date when a disaster occurred and the game was based around that particular culture. But hey, that's just me. If you're also looking at it through the spectrum of the game, there's not that many games I see that are coming out that are going to clash heavily with Assassin's Creed, which is honestly what they're looking for. They don't want the market to be oversaturated with so many games that us as the consumers will have to choose, okay, which one is a surefire to be successful and which one is just going to get me just like super upset. And by successful, I mean, like, am I going to get my money's worth in this game? Or am I just going to be upset that I essentially spent money on this? The date that they picked aside, however, I do think it's great that they delayed this game after receiving the feedback that they did on their latest gameplay footage. Delaying games for me isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, yeah, okay, it'd be awesome to play it when it's announced to actually be released instead of it having to be delayed again and again, and I'm pretty sure it will be delayed again. But I rather them actually take their time with it. The last thing I personally want is to play a game that is obviously not ready and that should have been sitting longer in the development stage just because they wanted to get it out on time. I We've seen, okay, how games can come out when they're just rushed, but still released, and Ubisoft cannot afford that error right now, considering the situation that they find themselves in. I think currently it is either delay it and have a better outcome of a game, or release it when we said we're going to release it, even though we know it's not ready yet, and have these massive consequences and a potential financial flop just because you wanted to keep track of, like, hey, well, we said we were going to release it on this date, so we're going to keep to our word and release it, but you're going to end up with such a shitty experience that you're possibly not going to want to buy another game from us ever again. However, we have seen what games can become once, they take the time into them. We have No Man's Sky, for example. I've spoken about them endlessly because of just the comeback that they were able to put in. Cyberpunk 2077 was an amazing comeback as well. I was on the fence about buying it and playing it myself, but once I saw that they actually fixed it, that, after it was removed from the PlayStation storefront and put back on, it was really good. It's an amazing experience. Yes, there's still glitches here and there, but at the same time, what game doesn't have their glitches? I think to expect a game 100% glitch free is kind of impossible nowadays, but just at least have me be able to play this game. If your game is so bad to where it crashes consistently and consistently, borderline having glitches that I can't play it or progress like throughout any storyline, then it's a problem and you should have had it in the development cycle a whole lot longer than it originally was in. And this whole thing about Ubisoft wanting to pump out 10 different Assassin's Creed games within 5 years, I think it is ridiculous. I think you are going to be stretching the company very, very thin, considering that you're having trouble putting out one game on time. There is no way you're going to be able to pump out 10 different games within 5 years and have them all be flawless and or at least like playable. They're going to end up coming out like Unity. And trust me, we do not want another repeat of Unity. I believe that is why they stopped having the Assassin's Creed games come out at a yearly cycle in order to avoid another Unity experience. I admit I am partially biased because I do like Ubisoft. I have played a lot of their games, and by a lot of the games, I mean started a lot of Assassin's Creed games and just not finished. I finished Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and I recently finished Valhalla, which I have thoughts. I have thoughts. And I recently finished Assassin's Creed 2, which I need to replay certain missions in order to make a deep dive video on it because I have it. I have it recorded and I need to get started on writing the script for it because I do plan on making videos on every single Assassin's Creed game so I can finish them with you, if that makes sense. But yeah, I am a bit biased. I do want Ubisoft to succeed. And either way, I don't want a gaming company to fail because saying, oh, I hope Ubisoft fails is saying, I hope all these people lose their jobs just because the people in charge didn't know how to do anything, essentially. They didn't know, saying, hey, you know, this time needs to be set for this time needs to be set for that. Like, you're essentially punishing the people and the bottom line just because the people in charge didn't know how to handle anything. They were just making horrible decisions one after the other. And it's just taxing. It's just super taxing right now. But anyway, those are my thoughts about Shadows being delayed once more. A bit sad that I won't be able to play it on Valentine's Day again, but I can figure something out. I'm pretty sure I will have more games to play, or I could even figure out something to do. I just want them to put out something that they can stand behind and be proud of it and be like, yeah, you know what? We made that game. That's an awesome game. And that is not a quadruple A title, but you know. But anyway, guys, that's it for me. Thank you all so much for being here and watching. What are your thoughts about the delay? Do you think this could be good for Ubisoft? Or do you think, honestly, that this can go either way? Once again, thank you all so much for watching and have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye bye.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. How many times do I have to say it?